last year, we were covering the Democratic Convention in Chicago, where a lot of drama unfolded related to the uncommitted movement, which was a group of voters across the country who were seeking to push the Democratic ticket to take a somewhat more reasonable approach to Israel's genocide in Gaza and U.S. support for it. Uncommitted DNC delegates, voters, various groups, they sought to encourage dialogue about the war at the convention, and they also sought, namely, to have a Palestinian voice represented on stage. Now, you were amongst the names that were floated as possibly speaking on stage, and you even prepared a speech to endorse Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And yet, the convention did not welcome a Palestinian voice to the stage. How do you reflect on that specific moment? Do you see it as a party failure? And what do you think it represents more broadly about the party apparatus?
Yeah, I think there are just too many people making decisions that are completely disconnected from reality. We had poll after poll, and to this day, to this moment, poll after poll that continues to show us that the majority of the Democratic base, and now the majority of independents and an increasing number of Republicans, not only view what is happening as a genocide, but do in fact support us ending support for Israel in this ongoing genocide. And so it's not as if what we were pushing for was going to hurt the party. I actually think it would have completely helped the party because if you notice before the convention, ever since VP Harris sort of became the front runner, right, in the race to replace Joe Biden, you saw this incredible explosion of excitement. People were signing up to volunteer again. You had people donating again. You had sort of this like groundswell that we had been desperate for up until that point. And it really felt like up until that convention that there was a lot of hope. And for those who don't remember, there were CBP agents on that stage, right? Customs and Border Patrol. We had Republicans on that stage. We had CEOs on that stage. We had every possible spectrum of this like large and contradictory coalition, and yet nothing, not even 2 minutes for a Palestinian speaker. And I want to pause here because it's not about the speaker. And it's just like it's not about necessarily like when you ask voters, when you poll them, it's not that Gaza becomes the number one priority for them. It's usually things like affordability and how to get by in this really more difficult economy. But it's become a litmus test, a sort of gut instinct of if you can't even be honest about what is happening right in front of our eyes, how can I expect you to have my back and be honest about the situation that we're in? And so it kind of became a proxy for these two things. And, frankly, that disconnect is pretty egregious.